Alright, we are gonna go through the exterior on this white 21 Ram. It's 1500. It's fitted out like a Rebel. It doesn't really have the off-road, like it's got the wheels and tires and everything, but it doesn't have the lockers or anything like that. It is a classic, so this body style in the 21 instead of the new body style. As far as the exterior, not too bad. We do have some chips from rock chips up here in the front. We do have some scratches and stuff around here. See some chips from rocks bouncing in the bed here, and some rust there, some surface rust. Stuff like this. That's bare to the bare metal. You can catch your nail there. So, another spot, got a ding here and it chipped. So like there's gonna get moisture in there, and that'll just balloon out, kind of how it goes. Got a mark here. Ooh, focus. There we go. Got a mark here with some surface rust. You'll kind of see it along the bottom where the rocks chip on the bumper there. Blemish here. Now, you did have a concern on the hood, and I did find it fairly quickly. Right on this corner here, right? With this focus. Sorry about my camera. I'm not sure why it might be the white in the sun. So you can see the bubbling here, yeah? Now that's a sign of either, normally there'll be like a chip. Holy crap. You can do it, camera. I'm so sorry. Normally there'll be a sign of like a chip on the edge. Well, if you look here, this has actually been repaired. If you look along, like this is not uniform. This side is even less uniform. I've never seen a factory do that, you know what I mean? You can see a little bit of schmooch coming out of there. But right here, there's a porous spot. I rubbed my thumb over it and actually got the bubbles. Come on, focus on the thumb. Not the sky. Thumb. Sorry, just bear with it. So see here, it's kind of like a porous spot, right? And so that is where the moisture is getting in at, and it's going into the paint, right? And causing this bubbling. Now, it's also from the seam not being perfect. You can even see where they like dropped the spatter and just like painted it, called it a day. So it's like not the best repair. And then when you shut it, you know, it's supposed to be smoother. But that was something I found. And then like you can see where like the plastics are rubbing, like there's like stopper spots on the hood, and there's no paint anymore. So it's just a little out of whack. But nothing crazy. That can still be salvaged. It just sucks to have to salvage that. But yeah, wheels and tires are wheels are in really good shape. Tires are brand new, basically. Stock exhaust. Steps are in really good shape too. So we'll stop here and just keep moving through this. We're gonna move to the engine bay here. I'm gonna do a quick startup, so I'm gonna just set this here. I know you can't see much, but I'll be right back. Alright, so this is my little mirror. We go through our undercarriage here. I always start at the front, and I just use it to look straight back. This just shows me if anything's been dragging, sagging, dangling down loose, just anything hanging out. Normally if you see like shiny or wet looking stuff, now disregard the skid plate shiny, like that's just actually fresh paint. Not fresh paint, but like the paint's still fresh because it's only 5 years old. So that's actually just sunlight today. But normally you'd see like a wet, kind of like a concrete floor in a parking garage, right? You see that slicky, wet looking shiny. That's what we look for. We don't see anything like that up here. Just some surface for us starting, but nothing crazy. We're gonna go off to the sides and everything. So here we're at the driver front corner, and we just look along the frame. So there's your cat on the driver's side, your front driveline, transmission pan, frame rail. You can see where the black coating is starting to chip on the cab itself. I've seen a lot of these trucks with time on like older 16s and stuff. We're back here. After enough of that chips away, as you see, it's almost gone. That will actually start to rust out the cabs on some of these, especially Canadian trucks. So in the next couple of years, I do recommend getting like a good undercoat just to get ahead of this stuff. Alright, so we got the full-size spare just to get you there. These are like a 4-link style rear end with a trailing arm and coils, so no leaf springs or perches or anything like that, but stock exhaust. Shocks and everything look really good, so we'll keep moving around. Does have a frame mounted hatch, which is good. It's not bumper mounted. And these are your arms that link to the rear end and the muffler. So more of that white stuff chipped off like I was talking about. So just something to stay ahead of. Once that black stuff's gone, you're just chipping at that white, which is the paint, and then you're down the middle. So here is your driver or passenger cat. Transmission again, nice and dry. Not too bad. We'll stop here. Alright, we're gonna do our interior here. It's doing its startup. So tire pressure light did stay on. One thing I noted, like these were all 36 or something when I started my drive. They all kind of went up to 40. It's asking for 43. So that just could be like the tech not aware of the weird pressure this thing has or wants. There's no issue driving around at 40 psi, but that light. So keep that in mind. One thing I thought was incredibly weird about this cluster: cooling gauge, both analog. Typically you have one, and then you get your digital readout, right? So your digital readout of temperatures, right? This has been in the same exact spot since I got the car. It's not pressure related, because if I rev the idle, it doesn't move. If I take off down the highway, it doesn't move. As the car got hotter, didn't move. So I'm not sure. At first I was like, is it copying the fuel gauge because they're really close? But I got that to move a little bit and that didn't. So I've never seen that. It's normally analog digital, never that. This is very weird, and I used to work at Mopar. That's weird. Other thing, go down to more info. Sorry. So idle time, you're at almost 1500 idle. I have a 2015, so, and it's a Silverado, but it's 2500. It's a gasser. It's got 160,000 miles more than this truck, and it's like 2300 for idle time. So I don't know, that seems like a lot for this low mileage. But we're gonna keep moving here. Your steering wheel, I always like to look at these. Pretty good shape. The leather's not like beat up or anything like that. Steering wheel has the voice controls. This is how I was changing the menu here. Cruise control, and then the gear up and down, because you have one of these bad boys. No locker, but it does have 4 low. Built-in trailer brakes, tow haul, and then the parking sense and traction control. No parking sensors in the front of these guys. Sorry. Reverse. Tailgate's open, so you are looking at the ground. But all that works. The sensors go off and everything. And then we're going to pause here, look from the outside in. Okay, at the driver door here, door cards are in pretty good shape overall. There's some scuffs on like that one and stuff I'll show you. Auto front windows, no tow mirrors, but it has the foldable power. Auto lights, manual seats on both sides, and cloth. It's very interesting with this much other trim, like sunroof and everything. Floor boxes work. This thing's a little sticky. You just had to give it a little extra work, and then it started doing its thing. Door card here. Onto the passenger side on this side. So back here just looks really good. I don't know if this seat was used much. I did say this is twisted, and it's not twisted down in here. Like so you gotta unbolt it and put it on the right way. So it's weird. And then manual seat here. Glove box, empty. Upper box, empty. So no manual. It does have the bench seat. You do have plug-ins in here with the console. No storage under that seat. And then a couple plug-ins down here. I want to pause, want to show one thing. We are back on the driver rear. So this is actually torn right here. You could re-secure it, but it's torn. So like, you're gonna get debris through there. Not really lined up all the way. So just a little piece. They're kind of straightforward to replace. You just undo these little pops and then slide it in from the other side and have someone just put a couple in on this side. You'll be done. Good to go. Truck bed or rear hatch. This is truck bed. So lift gate, it's not power. Doesn't have any dampers. Just kind of falls down to its thing. It does have the liner in here, which is good. It's pretty good. No dents or anything. Just some scrapes and some scratches on here, just to be expected. I did point out these are not locked, so I can just literally lift this up. Doesn't help the seal much, so there is some like debris over here and stuff. You gotta adjust those, and then they'll clamp down, kind of like those, but they're meant to be quick release, so you can fold it all up. Does have the cargo lights in here working. That one is out. Shuts really easy, opens just nice. We'll stop right there. Alright, so at this portion I'm basically just talking about what I'm finding on my scanner here. First thing, I always start here with the VIN. I always like to make sure that's the one that's on the car that I'm inspecting. Make sure those two match, especially when they come from Canada. Make sure everything was done properly. You did have a couple questions about the cylinder shutoff on these. We only had during our drive 2 misfires on 6, 1 on 5 and 1 on 3. Otherwise there was no other issues. Now, as far as your cylinder shutoff, if that's ever an issue, those numbers are usually in the hundreds, right? Because there's so many rotations per minute. If you go up, everything else is testing out okay. My hand's kind of in the way on the seat. So, pushing okay. That's testing your evap, your vacuum, cam adjustments and everything like that. So all's looking good here. We're gonna go off to our monitors here. Alright, so onto the monitors. Let that focus. There we go. Green checks all the way through. Really good. That's what we like to see. We try to do at least a 10-mile drive to make sure if anything's gonna trip, it will trip. And then we do some highway, some good accelerates and everything too. So it opens everything up, gets everything hot. Checks out good here. And then next I'm gonna just do a scan with you live on here so you can watch it go down. Alright, so this is, I'm going to do the scan here. No codes. I'll do it again. I always like to just push it in front of you. So no codes here. It's a good thing. Another thing is, like, especially this being at the Chevy dealer, if this did have the MSD issues, it would store like permanent codes, which you have to have dealer connect. Like even my scanner wouldn't be able to erase those if they existed. So just keep that in mind. We're gonna stop here and move on. All right, we're gonna go through our conclusions portion, right? Just kind of touch base on everything. Truck drives good, pretty good straight alignment. I was actually impressed with the bigger tires. It was pretty quiet. Takes bumps really good. No weird corrections needed or anything at highway speed. Really steady. Hemis drive really good. I am always pleasantly surprised with the power these Hemis do. Transmission shift's really nice. Gear buttons work. 4-wheel drive does what it should. A couple concerns you had. The hood I made sure to address. We just found it's been repaired and the repair wasn't perfect. You did have a concern on turning right. I was not able to duplicate. Now inside the car you hear a little bit of a creak maybe. And what that is that I'm hearing, that I'm describing to you, is like the rubber inside the column to keep like dust and stuff out and the wires. That was all I could find. And that's normal, nothing out of place there. This topper is not actually secured. I'll just show you again. You can literally just walk up, pick it up, take your stuff. So, needs to be adjusted. Couple chips in the bed and on the bumper. Pretty good gouge on this side of the bed, but really overall the paint's in pretty good shape. I did address that hood quite a bit for you, so make sure you touch base there if you have any questions. This is in the classic body style, so it's not the new, but it is the new design with the same like cab and everything. So, being a Rebel look-alike, this doesn't have the locker or the sway bars or anything like that. And it does have a manual seats cloth interior, which seems so out of place in this truck. It's pretty loaded beyond that for a Rebel that doesn't have the Rebel stuff. So inside here, I thought it very strange that there's the 2 cooling gauges here, and no matter what I do, that gauge is always in the same exact spot. It's very strange. So, not sure. When I first got the truck, it was right in that spot. Sunroof and everything works as intended. Not a bad truck. Definitely. The hood, I know if that bugs you, that hood was not repaired perfectly. Someone just didn't really know what they're doing with the seam sealer, if you want my honest opinion, and that's what's starting that bubbling. This can be addressed and fixed before it gets too bad. You are basically undoing the work that's already been done to fix the condition it's currently in to get to that point. I did address the cylinder shut off and everything works as intended. I went through that on the scanner and everything, kind of showed you all that. Nothing really stood out. Beyond that hood, we'll stop here.